watching the Aretha Franklin. It's like, what is it called? I don't know. I was braiding my hair. It was suggested to me on Tubi, and I watched it. Have you guys watched it? The Aretha Franklin docu series. It was really good and very like eye opening to her life because I didn't know a lot about her background and her life, And I found that her story was super sad. And if you haven't watched it, you're gonna get some spoiler alerts right now. So if you want to see it, and you don't want me to tell you what it's about, click off. But anyway, so I'm just gonna say like a few things about it, like why it was sad. It started off, her being a young girl. It went actually back and forth from her being a young girl to a grown woman to present day. Well, not present day because she's passed, rest in peace. But you know what I mean, like for her adulthood and back to childhood. And some of the things that happened to her, which I didn't know, is that she had like children at 12 and 13 years old. And she was the daughter of a pastor who was kind of like a crooked pastor. Like the whole show kind of showed that he was a pastor on Sundays, but anything else went on the weekdays and whatever. He was kind of crooked. He beat his wife, stuff like that. And, he forced the mother out of the house because she didn't want to allow him to cheat on her. And all this other stuff, like all the things that you could think of. It even showed scenes of her like being in the club when she was younger, and like adults all around giving her alcohol, and men trying to sleep with her at 12 years old, and just a lot of stuff. And she was raised in a church, so like a lot of women, they are really indoctrinated with the whole, I'm the helpmate or helpmeet, whatever you call it, and you got to be submissive to your husband and accept him and forgive him and, honor him and worship him and all this other stuff. Because religion to me is not about worshiping God. I'm talking about especially Christianity. It's about worshiping men. But anyway, I say all that to say there was a lot of stuff in that movie that was disturbing to me, and it just triggers me. This is why I say, if you guys know me, or if anybody who knows me knows that I oftentimes say I don't watch black movies because they're triggering to me. They're triggering if they're like documentary like this, or they're just so fake and so like annoying, like Think Like a Man and all that other shit. And then Tyler Perry movies and stuff like that can be funny sometimes, but they're all triggering because it just shines a light on things that I know that are a lie. There's a lot of stuff, right? And when I speak about the black community, I'm usually generalizing, right? I know that there's people out here that don't understand the power in seeing things generally and speaking about it so that you can create space to have conversation so that you can then fix it, correct it, do whatever. Like, you have to have the conversation, because if we keep talking about anecdotal things, especially on a smaller scale where there's a few people going through the anecdotal things, and then generally speaking there's more people going through the general things, it's really muddying the conversation to keep saying not all, and like nobody cares about. I think that type of mindset, it speaks to how selfish and self-centered somebody can be, because they think that they're playing a major role in protecting people who are unprotected, or who everyone's going against. If everyone's going against them, there's a reason. And I think it speaks to your fragility and your young-mindedness to muddy a conversation and say it's not all, and it's unfair to have this conversation because all black men are not like that, they're kings. But I bring up the community, and I'm talking about like the Aretha Franklin movie, because I find that, like, it's not that I don't like the color of my skin. I love my skin color. I love being black. I've never complained about being dark skinned. I love everything. But it is hard to love my community because the culture is what is the beast, okay? And culturally speaking, black people do debaucherous things, they lie, they, generally speaking, culture. This is how you have stories like P. Diddy. I'm using that as an example because you have so-called good men, these anecdotal good men that you're talking about, that see the nonsense and they help to perpetuate it, or they let it go. That is black culture. When I'm watching Aretha Franklin, all I can see is how black culture is perceived by me my entire life. People brushing things off. It's just fun. You need to relax. It's not that serious. We get to just make everything look good if you put Jesus and God over it. Like, there's so much hidden in our community because of the fragility and because of the arrogance of people who join conversations and say, not all. I think that's an arrogant move. If you're talking about anything, I don't give a fuck what cause you're talking about. If you're generally speaking, you're starting a conversation about what needs to be fixed. When I hear generalizations about how black women are fucked up, do you see me claim it? The conversations need to be had. But to me, I think, look, I ain't gonna say but nothing, because I'll tell you how fucked up black women are. I think my last post was about how vicious. I don't trust a lot of black women. Black women have helped me, but at the same time, they are the driving force who keeps these secrets hidden in our community. Also, another beast. You feel what I'm saying? But I feel as if, I'm not saying black women don't do anything in the community, but I do feel as if this dynamic comes from the protection of black men and for black men to thrive. Usually when black women are doing demonic shit, they're not thriving, they're surviving. They're fighting for their life. Black men thrive in this community. That's why we're directing it towards them, right? It's not abandoning black men. It's shining a light to hold space for accountability. And the reason that people are getting that these men are having such an intense reaction is because they've never been held accountable. The reason that you women feel some type of way is because you're part of the problem. You're the reason why Aretha Franklin can have kids and drink and be bullied by grown people at 12 to figure out who her baby daddy is instead of who the fuck harmed this child. Like, you know what I mean? It's really annoying. But and the last thing I'm gonna say is, I'm really just ranting, but I fell out with 4 white women. There's one that's on the fucking fence right now. Keep sending me things after they know my stance. It's 2 of them. Actually, it's 2 of them. But there's been 4 white women that I fell out with on this app because they want to tell me that, we can't start with the black man. We have to start with the general patriarchy. And this is why I want to know how that helps. I want to know if I'm saying black men stop murdering black women. I'm not going to say unalive and none of that shit. I don't know, like, fuck. Stop doing it. How does your arrogant, self-centered ass jumping in a conversation talking about it derived from the patriarchy and this is the... How the fuck does that make them stop doing it? And who told you that black people are not fucking codependent on the explanation of patriarchy and slavery? We regurgitate that shit just so we can evade accountability. So miss me with that shit. And if you keep sending me shit because I talk about black men and you're trying to force me to support them, get the fuck off my page. I know what I'm doing. I have a son. Please don't insult me. Don't insult me. I don't need to study shit to have a love that is undying and so fucking just thriving through my fucking veins for the love of my people. I don't need you to do that because I am a black woman and I have a black son and I'm connected to blackness more than you could ever be. This is why I keep trying to tell black people, you have fans. Why you keep talking about everybody's your enemy? A lot of these black people are your actual fucking enemy because they've bought into the self-hatred and, the harming each other that the patriarchy has taught us how to do. And these people just want to be close to you. And here's the thing though, I think that they're equally as dangerous because to question an actual dark-skinned, fat-ass black woman's loyalty to the cause because you want me to understand the patriarchy. Oh, I understand it because I'm affected by it the most as a black woman. I understand it. So to try to get me to love my son more is arrogant as fuck. Like nobody has talked about my son, but that's the point. I don't have to say everything that is true in one TikTok video for you to understand that there's a lot of things to fucking consider. We're not talking about your fragility right now. We're not talking about the fact that I'm doing this out of actual love. Y'all don't know what love is. I love my people, like, dearly. So much so that it hurts me and it offends me that people who share the same skin color as me think they can go out and do shit like P. Diddy to women who look like me. And I get to sit there forever, just like the women before me, and keep talking about slavery made us like it. They regurgitated themselves. This is 2025. We need action. We need action. We need to, if somebody's about to strike somebody down in the street, do you run up to them and start explaining to them why they feel the need to be violent? Or do you take the knife and lock them up or get them counseling or whatever? What do you do? I think you guys need to reevaluate your disingenuous approach of educating each other before you try to stop a conversation. This is why I say it gets in your common sense is gone down by the wayside because all the things that you have to consider is getting in your way. So you want people to stop talking about what black men are doing, which no other men are doing in their community. And I'm just going to say one thing, which is online, just bashing the women who birth them. And I'm just going to leave it at that and just leave it at that one single sentence. They're bashing and calling for the world to fucking hate us because they hate themselves. And you think that jumping in a conversation and explaining that the patriarchy is really to blame. You talk about your own men. When you talk about the patriarchy, and I'm just talking to white women, when you come to me talking about the patriarchy is talking about your men. So why the fuck can you put your men, shine the light on what the fuck they're doing, but I can't do it? Take off the fucking cape. Take off the cape. Number 2, simmer down. It's, the only thing that I can compare it to is young women walking around saying, you older women are not nice to these men because this is why they don't treat you good because you're not happy anymore. You're too jaded and you're bitter. That's what you sound like, joining a conversation and trying to educate people about the history. That's not how you stop somebody from harming somebody right the fuck now. That's giving them excuses to sit there and do more chatter about why they should be able to do that. No, we're not doing that shit no more. Fuck them. And maybe a little fuck you gets them to wake up like a slap in the face. Maybe a little abandoning them will make them say, oh, I don't want to be abandoned. And maybe make them fix their behavior. But coddling them is no. No. Why does their life and their experience matter than yours? I didn't start the war. Women of any fucking didn't start shit. And I'm not trying to perpetuate a war. I'm trying to start a conversation. Me making a video is not, I don't come on here and call to harm these men. And me speaking, but they do say, the power of the tongue is powerful. Words can cut like a sword, so much so that you feel like people are calling to action to kill these men. No, they're actually harming you. Stop being so arrogant. So when you see stories like Aretha Franklin going to a party with her pastor father who kicked her mother out and caused her mother to die of a broken heart, and on a Saturday night he's having a threesome, and his daughter's walking around the hotel looking for him, sees him having a fucking threesome, and then comes back to the room, or tries to go back to the room, ends up at a bar, some old ass 40-year-old nigga's trying to fuck her, and another one steals her and impregnates her. Where's the empathy for her? We survive. Where's the like when you get on here and you start talking about neglecting men? Where is the empathy for you? Are you? I'm genuine question. Answer down there.